Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be an overview of the Lethal LA-1. I've been using this thing for a while now. I probably should have given you guys a little bit of some size comparisons and extra detail into the shapes, the size comparisons. That's what we're going to do in this video. I do also want to say I have the Pro versions, the actual launch copies of the Pro versions, the Saturn and Venus. Both of these exceed my expectations. I think they are some of the best pads on the market. I've already reviewed them though, so I'm not going to be giving a full review, but I will show you guys the finalized versions and how I think it is even better than the prototypes. Let's get into it. We have a lot of content on this channel already about the Lethal mouse pads, and I'm not going to do full reviews on the finalized versions. I do have reviews of the prototypes in the Pro variant, and I just want to say that if you are somebody who's looking for an extraordinarily good pad, the Venus as well as the Saturn both provide. The Venus is a hybrid material. It's a little bit more abrasive than the Saturn. The Saturn is definitely more your cloth type variant, something like along the lines of a Artisan Zero. But outside of Artisan, the Lethal pads are definitely the highest quality. These have extremely good stitched edges, even better than the Pro prototypes that I had. And the foam is definitely the closest thing right now that you're going to have to that Xsoft type pour-on experience from Artisan. These two pads are extremely good. If I had a tier list, they would both be in the S tier. If you guys want to see how the speed kind of aligns, definitely check out my earlier videos. But the finalized version of the pad, the stitched edges are even better than they were on the prototypes, and that foam and the base still feel just extremely good. Everything between the shipping and the new packaging. The pads came perfectly flat, and everything here feels extremely good if you're looking for either a cloth surface or something a little bit more textiled, something that's going to last you a very long time with that hybrid material on the Venus. I want to let you guys know this is not a review. This is just a size and feel comparison between the LA-1 ZA13 and the Pulsar X2. Again, these were the two mice that I felt would be the best comparison, but they all are very drastically different from one another, but they all fall into that medium to large size category. In my opinion, the LA-1 feels the most aggressive. It's almost like the ZA, the Pulsar are more of your like comfort daily drivers, whereas the LA-1 is more like a sports car. And a lot of that comes down to the angles and how aggressive some of the angles can feel in your hand. It really makes your hand feel locked in. The Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 are a little bit more narrow in appearance than the Pulsar X2, and the buttons are actually a little bit more concave. The Pulsar X2 has those concave Mouse 1 and Mouse 2, but on the LA-1 it actually feels even more locked in for your index finger and middle finger, and just feels really, really good with how they did Mouse 1 and Mouse 2. The hump actually feels as though it is elongated out a little bit more than the Pulsar X2, and it kind of fills that back area of your palm a little bit more and is definitely a different hand feel than the Pulsar X2, where that hump actually really hits me in this general area on the underside of my palm. The next difference, again, you will see in the difference in the angulation and the aggressiveness of the angles on the bottom side of the mouse, where the LA-1 kind of droops and dips in a little bit more and more aggressively than the Pulsar X2, and then gets a little bit more narrow on the front side of the mouse, which in my opinion both feel very good for all different types of grips, palm, fingertip, and claw. I think the LA-1 gets a little bit more narrow towards the front, making it feel again as though you are a little bit just more locked in feeling with your grip, and it feels very, very good. It's a different feel, not necessarily a better feel, but both feel very good for those separate reasons. You'll notice again a different Mouse 4 and Mouse 5. It protrudes a little bit more on the LA-1 compared to the Pulsar X2, and is a little bit more similar in feel and appearance to the ZA13, except you do have a little bit of a gap between the two buttons. The ZA13 is drastically different than the LA-1. The hump definitely hits you kind of in the same area as the X2, but it's just a lot higher and a lot more kind of fattier feeling. It feels meatier on the underside of your hand, and you will notice that drastic difference in the height of the hump in that side profile of the ZA13 compared to the LA-1. The LA-1, of course, feeling a lot flatter compared to the ZA-13, and again, that hump kind of coming out more towards the back end compared to the ZA-13, which is more so in the middle. And again, you'll notice the difference in the angulation on the bottom side of the mouse. The ZA-13 kind of actually getting a little bit more aggressive and then coming out a little bit more towards the front side of the mouse, where the LA-1 kind of stays and remains a little bit narrow. All three of these feel very good in the hand. The button height, I think, feels the lowest to me because of where my fingers hit on the ZA-13. The button height on the X2 and the LA-1, I think the LA-1 is a little bit lower. All three of them, to me, feel good in terms of button height and just overall hand feel. The LA-1, to me, almost feels like an unreleased Zowie mouse. It feels awesome in the hand and something like what Zowie would produce. It is that good. Now, I've had a lot of time playing with this. I probably should have gotten you guys a little shape comparison sooner. I do want to leave you guys with a little montage of some Apex clips that we were able to get on the pre-production sample of the LA-1. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I will definitely get a full review when this mouse releases. I'm going to edit this conclusion right there, and I promise I will get you guys a lot more information, a lot more reviews as soon as we can get them done. I hope that helped, guys. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.